Everything looking okay this evening?
2 thumbs up.
Yep, all
Awesome.
set.
Perfect. Thank you both very much.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Fred.
How you doing?
Hey, pretty well so far.
Good. Well, that's a good sign. It's almost the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Hopefully, we'll have a fun meeting, non-controversial,
Yeah.
and everything will be well.
That was a long Friday, but we got a lot done.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really pleased.
Yeah, Myrna's really made a big difference.
Yes, she has.
All sorts of activity at the Grayton Gallery these days. I keep getting pictures from some of my friends that are showing at the gallery, but they keep taking pictures of other people. I haven't seen your wife yet.
Well, her show ended several
Yeah.
weeks ago, so she is now preparing for a show or participating in a show at the Sebastopol Center for the Arts.
Oh, well,
She
that's
took her
nice.
stuff over on
Yeah.
Sunday, and so yeah, it's fairly strange. She had to she had to paint something in accord with a poem that Sebastopol Center for the Arts sent her,
Huh.
and it looked to me as if it were a poem that had been generated by AI.
Huh. Well, these days you almost can't tell.
I
But
know.
oh, that's a nice place to show stuff. They
Yeah.
fixed that up really well for art shows.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hi there.
I believe, let's see. Tom, are you here? No, all right. Give him a minute. Beautiful day today, wasn't it?
Yeah, great. Even got reasonably warm this afternoon, which it was not supposed to do.
That's right. That's right. Ah, there we are. Mr. Hauser, I think we're all here. So I will call us all to order and I will call the roll. Mr. Cahill,
Here,
Mr. Elkin,
Here.
Mr. Engbarth,
Here.
Mr. Heavenridge,
Here.
Mr. Hauser,
Here.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Here.
Commissioner Parker,
Here.
and Commissioner Schneider.
Here.
Excellent. All right. Then we will, and pursuant to California code, just so that everyone knows, 54953, all votes during the teleconference meeting will be taken by roll also. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the commission on matters not on our agenda? Okay, hearing none. We will move on to action items by resolution. Is that right? Did I miss? Oh, that is the action item. All right, the first action item. I don't know why I'm confused. We've been doing this for months. The resolution establishing the need to hold teleconference meeting due to a proclaimed state of emergency. Do I have a motion that the Sonoma County Library Commission adopt the resolution to meet via teleconference during the proclaimed state of emergency pursuant to government code?
So
Section-
moved.
I'll second.
Thank- All right, Jen, did you get who moved? And who
I'm sorry, I
seconded?
did not.
I did, actually.
And who was first?
I was,
Oh, we're going to give it to Commissioner Cahill this time. And then who was the second? I heard Barbara's voice, but someone who was first.
I'll give it to Barbara. I second it.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Heavenridge. All right. Second resolution. Let us acknowledge National Library Week and National
Excuse me, Chair
Library-
Doyle.
Yeah.
We still need to take a vote on the first one.
Oh, you are so correct. Thank you so much. After I just told everyone we were going to be voting on everything. Commissioner Cahill,
Yes,
Commissioner Elkin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbarth,
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge,
Yes,
Commissioner Hauser,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Moving to the second resolution, acknowledging National Library Week and National Library Workers Day. And truly happy National Library Week. Lots of things going on at the national level and in various states. Do we have a motion to pass this resolution? Does someone want to read that for us? I'm happy to, but
I can
Does-
read it.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Resolution honoring National Library Week, National Library Workers Day. Read the whole thing, right?
Sure.
Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that foster a sense of connection, build community, connect people to technology, provide access to broadband internet, computers, and training that are critical for accessing education and employment opportunities. And whereas libraries offer opportunities for everyone to connect with new ideas and become their best selves through access to multimedia content, programs, and classes in addition to books. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries represent a microcosm of society and library workers play an important and unique role in the communities that they serve by providing an inclusive environment where all are treated with respect and dignity. And whereas library workers bring the nation a world of knowledge in person and online, as well as personal service and expert assistance in finding what is needed when it is needed. And it is important to recognize the unique contributions of all library workers and the value to individuals and society of those contributions. Therefore, be it resolved that the Sonoma County Library Commission celebrate April 3rd through 9th, 2022 as National Library Week and April 5th, 2022 as National Library Workers Day.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Fabulous. And I will call the roll. Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin,
Yes.
Commissioner Engbarth,
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
And we all want to thank the staff so very much. Okay, moving on. We are going to have the French presentation for the Roseland Regional Library. We're looking forward to this very much.
Thank you. Let me just get my screen up here. You all are seeing my slides, I hope.
We are.
Awesome. Good evening, everybody. Chair Doyle, Director Hammond, members of the commission. My name is Alita Dimas, and it is my pleasure to present to you the Rosen Regional Library, where until recently, I served Sonoma County Library as the branch manager. Also, a big shout out to our commissioners, Commissioner Cahill and Schneider, for all your support. More than a decade ago, Roseland neighbors and supporters had a vision for a library. Working with the Sonoma County Library, the County of Sonoma, the City of Santa Rosa, the Sonoma County Library Foundation, the Library Advisory Board, the Friends, the Roseland Library Coalition, and hundreds of advocates, community leaders, donors, and neighbors, the first Roseland Library opened in November 2015. Despite humble accommodations in a former furniture store and limited hours due to sharing the facility, the Roseland Community Library was filled with the joys of learning and discovery. While we were planning for a full-service permanent location, we knew we needed a temporary library to meet community needs with a full range of library services. That temporary library opened in September 2021. Our new full-service library is open 6 days a week with evening and weekend hours. It's been really exciting over the last few months to see families reading together, teens studying, adults using computers. And while this location is temporary, the community has embraced this welcoming space. The location for the permanent Roseland Regional Library will be part of a 9-acre project planned by the City of Santa Rosa on Hearn Avenue in the Roseland Southwest area of Santa Rosa. The project is envisioned to include a community center, a library, an aquatic center, and a fire station, a major investment for both the city and the library in equity and community services in a long underserved part of the city. The library has worked with the city for more than a year to study locations in the Roseland Southwest area of Santa Rosa. The Hearn site is close to neighborhood schools and provides the library with the flexibility to grow and adapt along with the community. But today, I'd like to focus on sharing with you some information about our current, albeit temporary, Roseland Regional Library. Many of you were at the ribbon cutting ceremony and will have had the opportunity to visit our small but beautiful library at 470 Sebastopol Road. The 4,500 square foot library includes dedicated spaces for children, teens, and adults, and a meeting room, all improvements from the former location. Our bilingual staff has a strong background in youth services to meet the needs of the local community and works tirelessly to spread the word about library services. Roseland is an active branch for events and outreach, and we have intentionally planned events and services that will draw in community members who are new to the library. Not surprisingly, Roseland Library users come from across the county, but are concentrated in Southwest Santa Rosa. The Student One cards are also an amazing asset in this community and a popular way for children to check out materials. On this map, you can see the current and future library locations. The service area includes about 35,000 residents and encompasses an area of both high-density housing as well as rural neighborhoods. Half of the households in the community speak a language other than English at home, with Spanish being far and away the most used. While the countywide population average is approximately 30% Latino, in the Roseland Southwest area, it's 56%, or about 25% more. And 17% of residents do identify with 2 or more races. The Portrait of Sonoma County, which came out earlier this year, shows the dramatic differences between quality of life indicators in Roseland as compared to more affluent areas of Santa Rosa, and I would add the county. When you look at education as an example, the index for Roseland is less than half that for East Bennett Valley. While many barriers exist to educational attainment in the Roseland neighborhood, community members value education and the opportunities that the library creates for them and their children. Every day at the Roseland Library, we meet new customers, community members who've never been to our library or maybe never used a library in their lives. They're often surprised to learn that there is no membership cost or fee to check out books and are eager to use the books and tech tools we lend to them. One young customer who visited us within a first week or 2 of opening told a staff member, "I don't think I get to use the library because I wasn't born here." She's now a regular visitor to the library and wrote us the note you'll see with a big heart that says, "I love here." What else could we ask for? One of the enhancements that Roseland customers appreciate the most in our new library is the dedicated children's area. Parents and childcare providers frequently visit the branch to check out materials for their children. We work hard to support parents in confidently selecting materials for their children in English and Spanish. As children get older and start choosing their own books, we see the full gamut of students and reading levels. We can see how much this group appreciates the library in our empty children's graphic novel shelves. On any given day, 60 to 75% of the children's graphic novel collection in both English and Spanish is checked out. While all residents of Sonoma County have been affected by the pandemic, families in Roseland were particularly hard hit by the devastating effects of COVID-19 on the Latinx community. Many of our customers lost loved ones, young and old, to COVID. Local parents continued to work in essential frontline jobs, and educational disparities were exacerbated during remote learning. In addition, the branch was closed for an extended period to accommodate COVID testing and vaccination. While we've faced challenges over the last year, we've also been able to lean into our strengths, including working in tandem with community partners and local schools to meet community members where they are and connect even in a socially distanced world. When we partner with community organizations such as Land Paths, we work together to create a stronger community. We've stayed connected with our community even during closures through outreach events, both outdoors and virtual, to local businesses, schools, and organizations. I'd also like to recognize the Roseland staff for their heavy involvement in system-wide virtual programs, such as bilingual story times in several formats, Teen Anime Cub, and adult workshops. Knowing that high-quality educational opportunities and supplies may be out of reach for many local families, Roseland staff have connected families with Take and Make kits and hosted a family activity bag giveaway over the winter break to help combat vacation learning loss with the support of our awesome friends at the library. As trusted members of the community, our partner agencies attract new customers to the library and enhance the services that we offer. And now that more events are taking place in person, the branch has been inundated with requests for class visits. Everyone wants to visit the library now or have us visit them. Everything that the staff does at the Roseland Regional Library is designed to meet the specific needs of the local community and leverage the wealth of services Sonoma County Library has to offer. Starting at the first Roseland Community Library, staff has provided events, programs, collections, and outreach intentionally designed to strengthen the community we serve. We look forward to expanding our services in the years to come and to creating a permanent library on Huron Avenue that reflects the life experiences of our users. Thank you very much for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions? Commissioner Alkins?
First of all, Alita, thank you so much. What a fabulous presentation, and so great to see how the community is embracing the new library. The question I have, I guess, would be both for you, and I see that Communications Manager Ray Holly's on the call also. It was touching, but a little sad to hear, that people come in and say things like, "Oh, I can't use the library," and that so many of your potential patrons seem to be surprised that it's actually available to them. I'm just wondering, what have we done and what more can we do to kind of get the word out to people who have never used the library that this is a resource that's available to them?
Our focus has been a lot on building confidence and those one-on-one connections. While it's true in many communities, I think particularly with our immigrant populations, having that trusted person tell you that the library is a safe place to go makes such a difference. I didn't want to list every one of our community partners in my PowerPoint, but I will give a little shout out to a few people who've really supported us. The Roseland CBI, which was sort of started by Sonoma, and they've taken their efforts and run with it. They're the ones who, you saw the picture of them hosting a Halloween theme or a little trick or treat bucket giveaway. So things like that, where community agencies that are already trusted by community members, having them on site, and that then brings in people who say, "Oh my gosh, really? It's free? I can do all this?" And then being out at those community events as well. So they had also invited us to a number of vaccination clinics at the schools, taking the bibliobus out into community locations. That has been one of our main points of emphasis. Obviously, Ray's team has done a ton of amazing work for promoting the branch as well and getting the buzz going, whether that's via snail mail, through newspapers, social media, the full gamut. But we find the most successful is that trusted handoff or that trusted recommendation.
Makes sense. Just please keep up what you're doing. I think that's really important work. And as great as the staff and the facility are, if people don't utilize it, they're not going to benefit. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Mr. Hawley, any comments?
Thank you, Chair Doyle and Commissioners. Ray Hawley. Just to pivot off what Alita said, it's a challenging time to introduce people to the library. In my personal career, working with community health centers that focused on the Latinx population, I would completely agree with what Alita said about the one-to-one, the value of that. When I worked for the Alliance Medical Center, we went to soccer games and laundromats and mercados and moms clubs and everything we could think of. And our librarians and library staff have not been able to do that for a big chunk of the last 2 years. So as we're reopening and as the Roseland staff continues its outreach, I think you're going to see some really positive numbers. And we're supporting it with paid advertising.
Thanks very much. Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes, thank you. I agree. It was an excellent presentation, Alita. Thank you so much. And congratulations on your promotion. I want to thank you for the personal tour you gave me a few months ago. That was really helpful to understand the limitations of the branch and what all you can do. I think you just said that you're getting school groups coming into the library, which is something that I have hoped for, all of our branches. And I'm just wondering how the kids are getting there, if they're, somebody's providing buses or something. That's my first question. My other question is, I've never understood the botanical bus, which I know is something totally different, but I don't really understand what that is. It seems to be very focused on the Hispanic community. Wonder if you could give us a little more detail about that.
Sure. In terms of the class visits, the ones we've had so far have been students that walk to the library. Roseland Creek Elementary is just a few blocks away. Some of the farther away schools have asked the librarians to come visit the school. I think that busing is not out of the question for all schools, but it adds a layer of complication to the teachers being able to schedule a visit. The botanical bus I can speak to a little bit. I haven't actually personally attended one of the programs, but they are a local community organization that focuses on well-being, the sort of the gamut of well-being for Spanish speakers. And the workshops that they do for the library are done virtually. That started because of the pandemic, and they are comfortable continuing to do it in that format for the time being. I think that, you know, as things proceed, we'll probably reevaluate that. But it is a monthly workshop that focuses each month on a different health topic. And their emphasis is on sort of holistic health. And there's no actual bus involved in the programs, but that's the name of the organization, because they do other types of events in other places that involves taking a bus to kind of like we do outreach with our bus, they do events with their bus. And so that's how their organization got the name.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize it's a separate organization doing it. Okay.
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
a partner organization. We do contract with them to provide the services like we do with some other organizations.
Thank you so much for all you're doing.
Certainly.
Thanks very much. I see no other hands up, so I will say wonderful report. As has been said, we thought you were fabulous in Windsor, and we think you're fabulous in Roseland, and so we think it's terrific that you're being promoted. Although both communities are a little saddened, so we will move on. But thanks very much. Are there any public comments on this presentation? Seeing none, we're going to thank you again for your time and look forward to visiting once again. Are there any members of library advisory boards or the foundation or friends of the library who wish to say something?
Chair Doyle, this is Sarah Ortiz from the Sonoma County Public Library Foundation. If I could have just a moment.
Of course.
I apologize, I'm not in my normal setup, so it's just my voice, but I just have a quick update. Once again, I just want to thank library staff, especially Craig and Anne, just for partnering with the foundation and being so communicative. We really appreciate it. We're really looking forward to the next stage of the foundation, and we're really excited by the support from the staff, the commission, and library, the Friends of the Library. We're really, really excited. It feels like such a good time. We are currently working on nominating, and so in the next couple of weeks, the foundation will be meeting with community partners to recommend people for the foundation. We've reached out to some big community leaders, and we're going to have a one-time meeting to kind of brainstorm big names to join the foundation as we move towards and are involved in the Roseland Capital campaign. And with that, starting in May, with dates to be determined, we'll have monthly kind of intimate meetings at the Roseland Library or other locations with big donors and community leaders and partners to kind of explain what's happening in Roseland, how exciting it is, and how they can get involved. And so we're just really excited about everything that's happening right now. And we thank you for your support. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much. Any comments, questions from the commission? Okay. Thanks so much, Sarah. Much appreciated. And with that, I am going to use the privilege of the chair to go into closed session. We're going to go into closed session earlier in the meeting to talk about the director's evaluation and salary, et cetera, et cetera. So I will see you all on the flip side.
Jeff, can you move into the closed session?
Is everybody here? All right. So the commission met privately to just get the wording here. Sorry about that. To discuss employee evaluation and salary of the library director. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows that Director Hammond's cost of living increase will be considered in and included in our consideration of the staff COLAs later on the agenda. All right. Moving on, we have reports. We are back at item 7. Anne, would you like to talk to us about what's going on with the library?
Yes. So my report is in the packet. I think it stands pretty complete as is, but I do want to take a moment to call out and thank and express my extreme gratitude to CFO Myrna Lopez and Armando Viramontes and Ray Hawley, and also Jaylene and Jen and Carolina and all of our OMT managers who worked so hard on the budget workshop that you all participated in on Friday. And thank you to the commissioners as well for your attention and your dedication to this process. And regarding the library reports, if there are questions, I'm happy to take those.
Commissioner Elkind.
Thanks, Anne. Thanks for the report. I had 2 questions. One under collections. No, I'm sorry. Let me. It's under public services. You said the Reading Justice Family Book Club launched in March. Librarians share picture books on topics that families might find challenging to discuss with young children, to model how to talk to children and to help families use library resources and librarian expertise. That sounded great. I was wondering if you could just give a couple of examples of the kind of topics that come up. And my other question had to do with fund development, where it said assembled and filed a proposal in a California State Library Building Forward Infrastructure Grant Program for $10 million for the Roseland project. Putting aside the coincidence of 10 million, this has nothing to do with the money that the city of Santa Rosa has committed, I'm assuming. So those are my 2 questions.
Okay, so I'll take the second one first. And that is correct. This is a completely separate $10 million ask from the state library for their Building Forward Infrastructure program. And regarding the first question, if Kathy DeWeese is on the call with us still, I would like to share that question with her.
I would be happy to answer that.
Thank you.
So the Reading Justice Family Book Club, the way that is being set up is that a specific picture book is being chosen each month for to invite people to read in advance of the meeting and then to discuss it. And then also for each month, a brochure or like a folded 2-page document is being handed out. And on that document, there is information about the theme of the month. There is recommended reading around that month. And then there's discussion questions for a parent to share with their child. And so our first launch that was cited in the report last month, the theme was disability justice. So how to talk about disabilities, how to integrate knowledge and understanding about disabilities into your regular discussions with your child, and then also like what some of the challenges that those children, those families face were part of the discussion questions. The upcoming month, the topic is incarceration justice. And so they are going to have a picture. I'm not sure what the picture book is chosen for this coming month, but I'm assuming that it would be a book that talks about like if you have a parent who might be incarcerated and how to talk about that. And so if the commission would like, I would be happy to share some of those brochures that accompany the program each month, that we are kind of prepping so that parents can have that discussion with their child in advance of the discussion. And then also I'd like to share a little bit of feedback. I don't have it right in front of me right now, but we did get some feedback from the people who attended that first launch event. And the children were, and this is targeted at elementary age children. The children were saying things like they really enjoy having the opportunity to discuss serious topics. So that was really great to hear. And I have huge kudos for Adrielle Ahern, who is the staff person whose brainchild this is.
Well, that's wonderful. Kathy, thank you so much. We're really glad to hear that. And, certainly I don't feel like you need to do it every month, but if you, share one or two with the commission at some point, love to see that and certainly applaud this effort. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thanks very much. Commissioner Ingbarth.
Yes, I wanted to thank Anne and her team for the budget workshop. I think that was, very productive and worthwhile. So I thank you to you all. And then on some of these things, I know this came up at the budget workshop on the automated book lockers, and also I would say on the Palace project that you have listed there, and also on the grant that Andy just raised. If maybe on the future you could give us a link, and also maybe to Kathy's program, a link that we could go to if we're curious to get more information, to be able to look at what those are and what's happening there. If we're interested, that way then you wouldn't have to burden your report time with it, and we could just look it up at our leisure.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Anybody else? Commissioner McKenzie.
Yeah, since I kind of complained a lot last time about our budget workshop last year, I do want to say in public, I sent an email to Anne after and Deborah for your work as well, and to Mira. It was just an excellent workshop, and the kind of workshop that, it's so productive to have all that material ahead of time. The reports were beautifully laid out. The staff did a great job in all the presentations. It was just, it was like an incredible change from what we had last year. And there were a lot of circumstances that related to last year's being, less than perfect. But anyway, it was an excellent budget workshop, and I really appreciate all the work that went into it. And I think it paid off. I mean, we listened, there weren't any issues. I mean, we really understood what we were looking at, and I think we can move forward, easily now from that. But anyway, thank you so much. Full A+ from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Parker.
Hi, I agree with the previous comments about the workshop. It was well organized and thoughtful. A couple of the presentations mentioned the facilities management plan, the updating the facilities, and I may have missed this, and my apologies if it's been out there, but I was just wondering if you have the completed facilities management or when we should expect it.
No, Group 4 did a preliminary presentation to the commission, not this past month. I think it was the prior month. They will have the final report for you in May.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Commissioner Schneider.
I just wanted to share that I thought the budget workshop was a terrific activity, and I just applaud Anne and team and your new CFO for just absolutely excellent budget presentation and report, and for getting us out materials in advance, and for ending early. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much. Seeing no other comments, any public comments on the reports? Anything separate on the budget and finance reports? All right, I'm not seeing any comments on those. Public comments? Moving on to commissioner reports. Anybody have anything to add to their commissioner reports? Okay. I will say about the chair report, it's National Library Week, and this is actually the week that the American Library Association is asking everyone to reach out to their elected officials and to make sure that they know how important libraries are. And I'm sure you've all been reading about censorship in various states and even here in California. So if you'd like to take the time to send a note to our supporters in Sacramento and in Washington, just let them know that we're out here and that we believe that that libraries should be resources for everyone. Then that would be a really terrific thing. Any comments? Any public comments on commissioner reports? Okay, seeing none. Committee and liaison reports. Andy, do you have anything to add to your finance committee report?
I do, please, Deborah, and I'll try to be quick. I'm going to. I realize this was an enormous agenda packet tonight with a lot of reading, but for those folks who are not on the finance committee, I'm going to suggest that you take a few minutes sometime over the next few days to read, starting on page 74, about the discussion that we had on item 4.5, which was the actuarial analysis done by Bartell Associates about CalPERS. Jen did her usual outstanding job of capturing the discussion. And just a little, I want to give a shout out to Barbara McKenzie, Dave Cahill, Tom Hauser, and to you, the members of the Finance Committee, because we had, I would say, our usual robust discussion about this very complicated topic. Bartell recently completed an analysis of our pension plan. I think they did a great job on the analysis. I was a little underwhelmed with the presentation that they made for us, and it's a really complicated topic. CFO Myrna Lopez and I are going to get together and try to make a cogent and concise presentation on this to the full commission. But what you'll see if you read these 3 pages is we had a discussion about the potential benefits of making additional discretionary payments to shore up the pension plan and reduce the amount of the unfunded liability. Now, to be clear, we got a very good report from Bartell, and in particular, over the last year, really outstanding investment returns on the part of CalPERS cut our unfunded liability from 20% to 10%. That's very good news. And I think everybody should be aware of the fact that CalPERS has recently changed a number of its policies, which mean that they've become more conservative. And even if we do nothing, the library will be on a better footing in terms of gradually closing that gap. That said, I personally believe there's a benefit to considering making some additional discretionary payments to close that gap. And I've asked our CFO to do some additional analysis. I won't take you through all the discussion, but if you do read these 3 pages, I think every possible perspective on this topic was voiced by one of the members of our committee. So we have a great committee, great discussion, not ready to make a specific ask of the commission, but we will be coming back to you on this topic. So please take a look at it. Thanks very much.
Commissioner comments? Any public comment? Thanks very much, Andy. Really, the committee, even though I serve on it myself, the committee has done truly excellent work and on so many complex issues that we want to get sorted out. So that was really terrific. All right, moving to the consent calendar, we only have one thing. These matters include routine financial and administrative actions that may be approved by a consensus.
I move we approve the consent calendar, which consists entirely of the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll second that.
Did anybody want to remove anything from the consent calendar? Okay, hearing none. Then we'll call the vote. Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Engbarth.
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge.
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes.
Commissioner Parker.
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Then we'll move to our action items by motion. We have the SEIU Local 1021 successor MOU and the disaster leave side letter. And do you want to talk to us about this? Does someone want to walk us through or?
Well, I think that Erica and Suzanne are the better parties to walk us through this. They were involved in the negotiations.
Sounds great.
Okay, so the side letter is really just an extension of the natural disaster side letter that we already presented and you approved. So this side letter will expire when the new MOU expires. So, you know, that is a relatively simple thing to approve. And then for the MOU, we can kind of go through the things that changed, if that would be helpful.
Sure. Why don't we get the letter approval out of the way before you walk us through that? Do I have a motion to approve the side letter?
Move approval of the side letter.
Second it.
Okay. Any conversation about that? All right, I'll take the vote. Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Engbarth.
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser.
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes.
Commissioner Parker.
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Okay. Now you can walk us through it.
Okay, I don't have a formal presentation. I can just kind of give you a short summary of what we changed in the
That sounds great.
MOU.
That sounds great.
All right.
Just to
So,
remind us all, since it's been a long negotiation.
Yeah. So the first thing is it's a 3-year contract. It begins January 1st, 2022 and ends December 31st, 2024. It is, we changed in Article 3, we added some definitions. We included the shelver as one of our definitions. We included a natural disaster. And we added a seniority definition, meaning based on date of hire. With respect to Article 4, we added some, we changed the way our dues are taken out. It was monthly and we actually do it bi-weekly. So we agreed to change the language so that, you know, our practice is consistent with what is in the MOU. We also added some language, just, you know, the MMBA, that the scope of representation shall include all matters relating to employment conditions and employer-employee relations. For Article 6, employee rights, we changed the grievance procedure for written reprimands. Previously, an employee could not grieve a written reprimand, but we agreed to allow employees to grieve them to the level of the director. So that would mean they would, you know, they could appeal to the library director, but it wouldn't be able to go to the commission or arbitration. That is Article 6. We also agreed to allow employees to request that adverse actions in their personnel files can be removed after 2 years, as long as no subsequent disciplinary action was taken. Let's see, what else? Let's see.
I think that's good.
Okay. Article 7. I don't think we changed anything in Article 7. Article 8, we have 3 COLAs. We have a 5% COLA for the year 2022, effective January 1st, a 4% COLA for January 1st, 2023, and a 4% COLA for January 1st, 2024. We also added bilingual pay, and that is a tiered bilingual pay. It's $1 for speaking and $2 for special assignment pay. And that is not $2 in addition to the $1, it's an additional $1. So it would be $2 for that special assignment premium pay. That would be something that would be worked out with a supervisor, and they would only receive the pay while they were performing the tasks. So they would keep track of how many hours they were spent doing translations or doing specialized outreach and presentations, and they would report those hours and be paid for those. We also added in the 8 that employees who are demoted for whatever reason, whether it is voluntary or involuntary, that they would not keep the pay of their previous rate. They would go to the pay of where they were being demoted to. Let's see. We added pants in Article 9 so that delivery drivers can have pants. We allowed the staff to get reimbursed for classes, and this is in Article 9 for them to take classes for language acquisition. So if they want to use their staff development funds for that, they can do so. We're also combining the staff development wellness fund so that all those funds can be in one bucket. Let's see. For our health and welfare benefits in Article 10, it used to be that depending on when they were hired, they might not get their health insurance until the previous month. We agreed that the employee would be eligible starting the first day of the month following their hire date. Let's see. Anything else? Holidays, we've already approved that. We agreed to adding Juneteenth and observing holidays on Mondays and Fridays for those days where the library, where the official holiday falls on a Saturday and Sunday. Let's see. Anything else?
I think that's a pretty good summary.
Okay. Yeah. If there's any other questions, Suzanne, you want to add something?
I just wanted to add one thing for technicalities, that the pay period, the COLAs are effective on the first pay period of the calendar year, because in the 2024 year, it's actually will be effective on December 31st of 2023. That's important because I need to bring the salary schedules back for 2023 and 24 in the December meetings so that they can be applied effectively just for payroll purposes. So I only brought the salary schedules, providing that you approve them. I only brought them for this year because it just changes that occur in the year. It would make it easier to bring them back every calendar year. So just wanted to clarify that matter.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, the motion should have been, the one that I asked for should have been for both the successor MOU and the disaster leave side letter. So I will ask for a motion to approve the successor MOU now.
So moved.
I think that was Commissioner Engbarth and Commissioner McKenzie. Is that okay? Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbarth,
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Okay. 10.2, the salary increases, the benefits and other provisions adopted. Do I have a motion to extend the salary increases, benefits and other provisions adopted in the 2022-2024 successor MOU to the non-represented employee groups?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, David. Okay, any questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll take the roll. Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbarth,
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And item 10.3, the salary schedule for SEIU represented employees. Do I have a motion to approve the 2022 salary schedule for employees represented by SEIU?
I move.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? I'll take the roll. Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbarth,
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Okay. And then 10.4, the salary schedule for non-represented employees.
I move to approve.
Second.
And this is the one that would include Director Hammond, correct?
That is correct.
Just so that everybody knows. All right, let's take the roll. Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkind,
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbarth,
Yes.
Commissioner Heavenridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Hauser,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
And we would like to thank the staff, represented and unrepresented, non-represented, for all their hard work. And we're delighted to have another signed contract with the union as well. Okay. Agenda items for future commission meetings.
I have two, I think, that we mentioned. We discussed reviewing the executive director's contract. And then I asked about the Yolo County Archives and Records Center. I'd like to have some kind of written report about that, if we might have that for some meeting in the future. Just to get it down exactly what we heard had happened, but it would be nice to know what people saw.
Thank you, Commissioner Hauser. Anybody else?
I know that Rachel mentioned this, but I am anxious to see the final version of the facilities master plan. And along with that, I'd like to see the planning process for those projects that are being prioritized and were budgeted for, so that we are moving underway with them as quickly as possible.
And I know that there are going to be some grants made at the state level. I know we're certainly up for one or two, I believe. But it would be interesting to hear what other kinds of grants are being made around California, just so that we get a sense of where we are in the greater scheme of things. Okay. And that brings us down to the date and time of the next meeting, which is Monday, May 2nd. So I will, does anybody object to adjourning this meeting? Seeing no objections, we're going to call it adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, good night.
Good night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks, Ann. Bye-bye.